911, what's your emergency?
It's the trainer! She's not resurfacing! There's blood! The Orca, it's not letting go! Please, send help now!
Lauren Mitchell loved the ocean and the creatures within it. She spent years studying orcas, believing love could bridge any distance between species. But in captivity, love and trust don't always mean safety. On April 11th, 2012, the bond she built was shattered in front of hundreds of stunned witnesses. Come with me to the show that was meant to inspire joy, but ended up leaving a scar on everyone who witnessed it. SeaWorld Orlando, a place where the ocean meets imagination. Every morning, the park awakens to the sounds of splashing water and excited crowds. Families gather with phones in hand, waiting to witness the breathtaking bond between humans and killer whales. Among the trainers preparing that morning was Lauren Mitchell, 30 years old, calm, focused, and known for her quiet grace with animals. To the visitors, she was simply the woman who smiled at whales. But to her colleagues, Lauren was more, the heart of the team. And that day, April 11th, 2012, was supposed to be just another show. Routine, predictable, beautiful. No one in the crowd could have imagined how quickly beauty can turn to terror. You might ask yourself, why place so much faith in a predator? For Lauren, the answer was simple: love. But love alone can't tame what was born wild. Lauren had spent 6 years at SeaWorld. She trained multiple orcas, but one held her heart, a massive female named Nyra. Nyra was born in captivity, never knowing the open sea. To Lauren, she wasn't a performer. She was family. Lauren often said, "She understands me without words." That connection mesmerized audiences. A woman and a predator, moving in perfect harmony. But behind the smiles, scientists were raising warnings. Years of confinement, isolation, and noise were leaving deep scars on captive orcas. They became anxious, unpredictable, and sometimes violent. Lauren had read those reports. She believed her love and patience could overcome Nyra's moods. But nature has limits. Stay with us, because what begins as a dazzling show of trust and beauty will soon spiral into something no one in that crowd could ever forget. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SeaWorld's Ocean Odyssey. Please give a warm cheer for our trainers and the amazing Nyra. The crowd erupted. Thousands of eyes turned toward the shimmering pool. Lauren stepped forward, wetsuit glistening under the Florida sun, her voice soft as she greeted the audience. Nyra surfaced beside her, 5,000 pounds of muscle and intelligence. She let out a misty exhale, spraying the front row. Children laughed, parents cheered. Lauren gave the hand signal. Nyra obeyed perfectly. A slow spin, a graceful leap, and a thunderous splash. Everything seemed flawless. Everything seemed nice. Everything seemed wonderful. Let's pause for a moment. I'd love to know where you're watching from. If you're proud of your country, drop your country's name in the comments below. Let's see how far this story has reached. And if stories like this move you, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share this video. It helps us bring more awareness to the hidden world behind marine shows and the truths that deserve to be seen. Now, let's continue with the tragedy. As the show continued, Lauren noticed something off. Nyra's movements grew sharper, her dives longer. Between tricks, the orca swam the perimeter, eyes fixed on Lauren. Experienced trainers know the signals. Rapid surfacing, deep exhales, tense posture. They mean agitation. But with a full crowd cheering, stopping the show wasn't simple. Lauren signaled for one last routine, a synchronized swim. She dove in beside Nyra, trusting the bond they had built for years. For a few seconds, everything was peaceful. Two silhouettes gliding together beneath the glass. Then the water erupted. Now the bond is about to shatter. It happened in an instant. One moment, Lauren and Nyra were gliding in harmony. The next, the pool exploded into chaos. Witnesses remember the sound. A violent thrash, followed by an eerie silence that gripped the entire arena. For a brief moment, people clapped, thinking it was part of the act. Then the laughter stopped. The water, it was turning cloudy. Then red. Nyra had clamped onto Lauren's arm with terrifying force. and in a single pull dragged her beneath the surface. Panic erupted. Children screamed. Parents clutched their seats. Trainers on deck shouted for emergency nets, their voices cutting through the chaos. But below the surface, it was a nightmare. Visibility had vanished, the water thick with bubbles and blood. Lauren fought to break free, pushing against the weight of a 5,000-pound predator. Her lungs burned. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. For 6 years, she had trusted Nyra with her life. But in that moment, the creature she called family became unstoppable. Witnesses said the pool went still again. No movement, no sound, just the shadow of an orca circling below. The bond was broken, and what followed would haunt every person who saw it forever. Emergency alarms blared across the park. Trainers threw buoys, pounded the steel gates, shouting Nyra's name, but she refused every command. It took long, agonizing minutes before she released her hold. Lauren floated near the platform, motionless. Rescuers pulled her from the water as medics rushed forward. The show crowd had been evacuated. What moments ago was a place of laughter now echoed with silence. News of the incident spread quickly. Within hours, the park was closed, and investigators arrived. Trainers gathered in disbelief, many refusing to speak. Some called it a tragic accident. Others called it inevitable. Nyra remained in isolation after the incident, refusing food, emitting deep, low calls that sounded almost like mourning. To those who worked with her, it was a haunting reminder. Even in captivity, the wild still lives within. Experts later examined every detail. Video footage, medical reports, Nyra's behavior logs. The conclusion was chillingly familiar. Captivity changes orcas. They are social, roaming animals who travel up to 100 miles a day in the wild. In tanks, their world shrinks to a few dozen meters. Isolation leads to stress. Stress leads to aggression. Marine biologists compared Nyra's actions to documented cases in other parks. Moments where orcas acted out, not from malice, but from mental collapse. Lauren believed she could bridge that gap between human and beast. She tried to show the world love through performance. But the truth is, no matter how deep the bond, captivity rewrites instincts. Today, Lauren Mitchell's memory lingers quietly through the park, not in plaques or monuments, but in the hearts of those who remember her courage. Her story reminds us that love for animals isn't just about training them. It's about respecting their freedom. Maybe the lesson isn't about control, but about compassion. Maybe the ocean isn't ours to confine. When we gaze into the eyes of an orca, we see intelligence, emotion, and pain. And in that reflection, we see ourselves. For Lauren, for Nyra, for every voice trapped behind the glass. May we learn before it's too late. If this story touched you, please subscribe, like, and share this video. Every action helps us raise awareness and remind the world that compassion must come before entertainment. These stories are not just about tragedy, they're about understanding, respect, and the lessons we owe to every living creature on this planet. Together, we can be the voice for those who cannot speak for themselves. And before you go, I'd love to know where you're watching from. If you're proud of your country, drop its name in the comments below. Let's see how far this message of awareness and empathy can travel across the world. Thank you for watching.